Today is November 14th. It's the 319th day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. Born on this day in 1840, one of the pioneers of Impressionism, artist Claude Monet. Monet is born Oscar Claude Monet in Paris. When he is 5, his family moves to Le Havre in Normandy. By his own account, his childhood is one of freedom. He's born undisciplinable, as he says. He doesn't play by the rules, and no one can make him. Needless to say, school is not his favorite place. To him, it's a prison. He decorates the margins of his textbooks and creates fantastic designs in his notebooks, and draws irreverent caricatures of his teachers. By the time he's 15, Monet is known around Le Havre for his charcoal caricatures, which he sells for 10 to 20 francs apiece, depending on whether he likes the look of his subject or not. Everyone in Le Havre buys a Monet caricature, and he becomes well known in town, and some of his drawings are hung in the storefront of the local frame shop. Though Monet is motivated by the money he's making for his drawings, he can't help but feel a little bit of pride when he sees someone walk down the street, pause in front of the storefront, and look at one of his drawings and say, "Hey, that's so-and-so." In the framer's storefront, Monet's caricatures share window space with paintings of local maritime scenes by landscape artist Eugène Boudin. Monet finds Boudin's paintings to be revolting, and he's disgusted to have his masterpieces in such close proximity to Boudin's garbage. Monet describes Boudin's work as, quote, sincere little compositions with pleasant boats, perfect skies, and correctly delineated little figures. Monet sees no artistic value in them. But one of the framers in the shop encourages him to meet Boudin. He studied in Paris, the framer tells him. He could give you some useful advice. Monet can't imagine he could possibly learn anything from Boudin. But one day, Monet stops in at the framer's shop, and Boudin happens to be there. They're introduced, and Boudin expresses his appreciation for Monet's talent. It's clear to Boudin that Monet draws his caricatures quite effortlessly, and that there is pure talent in his hand. Boudin tells Monet he hopes he will do more than just caricatures. Try painting, try landscapes, try to capture the essence of people and trees within the light and atmosphere just as they are. Boudin seems like a nice guy, but Monet is not having any of it. Thanks, but no thanks. Boudin offers to take Monet with him to paint out in the countryside. Monet declines the invitation, making up an excuse. After a while, another invitation is extended, and another excuse made. But by the summer, school is out, and Monet has no more excuses, so he gives in. Or as he puts it, quote, Boudin, with his inexhaustible kindness, took it upon himself to educate me. With time, my eyes began to open, and I really started to understand nature. I also learned to love it. After 6 months under Boudin's tutelage, Monet drops out of school and moves to Paris in 1857 to focus on his art full-time. In 1860, he meets artists Pissarro, Courbet, and Manet. And in 1861, he's drafted into the army and serves 2 years in Algeria. He doesn't realize it at the time, but the vibrant light and colors he sees in Algeria take root in his subconscious to later influence his future oil paint experimentations. Over the next few decades, Claude Monet becomes one of the leaders of the Impressionist art movement. In 1874, he joins other artists in forming the Société Anonyme des Artistes, Society of Anonymous Artists, to have more control in the exhibition of their work. Monet's piece, Impression Sunrise, a landscape of the Le Havre harbor, is among the works in the Society's first exhibition. Art critic Louis Leroy lampoons the exhibition, calling it L'Exposition des Impressionnistes. But the Society members claim the term for their own and refer to themselves as Impressionists. Later in life, in 1908, Claude Monet becomes afflicted with cataracts in both eyes. Gradually, his interpretation of color changes. The cataracts act like a filter, changing whites to yellows, greens to yellow-green, and blues to reds and yellows. He continues working as his eyesight fails. He sees everything now through a mist, but he writes, quote, "Even so, it is beautiful, and that's what I would like to show." In 1897, he paints The Water Lily Pond, a painting of a bridge over a pond in the garden behind his house. The colors are vibrant and vivid. In 1923, he paints The Japanese Bridge, the exact same setting from the same vantage point. This time, the image he paints is dark, moody, an echo of a bridge. Between 1922 and 1924, he paints a half-dozen paintings of his house as seen from his garden. During that time, he has corrective surgery to remove the cataract in his right eye. His vision is improved, but it's still altered, so he refuses to have the procedure done on his left eye. The series of paintings called The House Seen from the Roses Garden, painted over this 3-year period, are all radically different from each other, depending on which eye he uses and whether it's before or after his surgery. Each a monochromatic blur of the house and garden, everything red with a yellow sky, or everything blue, or green with a hint of blue. Monet comments, quote, "I see blue, I don't see red anymore, nor yellow. This bothers me terribly because I know that these colors exist, because I know that there is red, yellow, a special green, a particular purple on my palette. I don't see them anymore as I used to see them in the past, and however, I remember very well how it was like." Claude Monet, born on this day in 1840, continues painting until just before his death in 1926. Monet, the driving force behind Impressionism, passes away at the age of 86. There are 47 days left in the year. On This Day is produced by me, Dave Schultz. Thank you very much for listening. On this day in 1940, the English city of Coventry is bombed by the German Luftwaffe. In the raid, Coventry Cathedral is almost completely destroyed. The British know in advance the German raiders are coming because they've broken the Enigma codes. But to take defensive measures would reveal to the Germans the codes are broken. So Winston Churchill decides there will be no defensive measures taken, no warnings given to the citizens. 4,300 homes are destroyed and an estimated 568 people are killed. So if you're still listening, never surrender. Talk to you tomorrow.